What's up, you savage animals? It's Caden Von Kaiser, and as you can clearly tell from the title, we're doing a tier list of all the Resident Evil games. Just a really quick message. This is a very biased list. I will even say it in the video. That's all I wanted to say. Please don't flame me in the comments, although I'm sure there's a troglodyte who will. And that's okay, because that's your opinion. Anyway, enjoy the video. Anyway, we're gonna do a tier list here of all the Resident Evil games thus far, right? Obviously, first things first, I gotta put Umbrella Corps in D. I'm going to put Reverse in D and Resident Evil Resistance in D. Here's why. Umbrella Corps, generic shooter, garbage. Reverse, generic battle royale shooter, garbage. Resident Evil Resistance, tried to copy Dead by Daylight, game was dead on arrival. What really sucks is this one came out with Resident Evil 3 Remake. I already have issues with the remake because Resident Evil 3 was already a pretty short game comparatively to the first two, but they cut even more content from the remake. And so, yeah. So this came with Resident Evil 3 Remake. Literally day one, guys. I tried getting into a match day one. I sat in matchmaking for 3 hours because I was right here in this room well before I even had a proper bed. I had a freaking air mattress. My TV, which is not the TV I have now, I was very bare bones in here. I had a tiny 32-inch TV, my PS4 right here on the floor. I had nothing to do. I got up, walked away. I paced my room in my house for 3 hours waiting for a game, and I finally said screw it. Because I had nothing better to do. No, actually, I'm sorry. I had a friend who lived right across the way. Hung out with him, came back. I was still in matchmaking. So yeah, Resistance was dead on arrival. I didn't play Reverse because I don't like it, and I didn't even touch this because as far as I'm aware, this was also dead on arrival. Generic shooter. Didn't like it. Again, this is going to be a very biased tier list. This is my personal opinion. You people are obviously going to disagree with me, and I see it coming from a mile away, but that's the beauties of the internet. You can have your opinion, you can have your wrong-ass opinion, just like I can have my wrong-ass opinion. For Resident Evil, I haven't given this game nearly as much time as other entries in the franchise, but we're going to go ahead and throw this bad boy in the A rank, just because the... Fuck you doing now? We're doing a Resident Evil tier list. That's what we're doing. Resident Evil, I'm gonna put in the A tier. Obviously, great entry in the franchise. Is what helped revitalize zombies in general in the late 20th century going into the 21st century. My issues with it, and my issues remain with the remake because they never changed it. I found it difficult to traverse the area. I didn't like how the map was. Of course, Resident Evil 2 made the map a little too easy. And voice acting, because voice acting for some reason in general I've noticed was just, it wasn't great. It was very campy dialogue. But I just, for some reason, this one, it's the worst. Resident Evil 2. This is a biased opinion. This is the first of a few biased opinions. S tier. Magnificent. Down to the last minute detail. Okay, this is why it's biased. This is my favorite game in the entire franchise. Resident Evil 4, wherever it went. Resident Evil 4 introduced me to the franchise. Resident Evil 2 is where I fell in love with Resident Evil specifically. And what really helps this entry's position is the fact that I had to learn. The reason I was able to play this game basically with my eyes closed backwards is because I had to play through it so many times because I did not have a proper memory card. I had a PS2 without a PS1 memory card. I was unable to save my progress ever for the first, 4 months of owning this game until my mom finally got me a PS1 memory card. And this is also one that I watched my dad and his buddy play a lot back on the GameCube. I still want to find this game on GameCube. I have had it for the PlayStation. I own it for the N64. I want to get the GameCube version. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, I'm going to put it in A. I have not played the original. Not yet, at least. I have yet to find a copy. I did buy it. I did buy a copy not too long ago. I just need to be able to play it. I got a copy on GOG Games, I think, because they had the original trilogy. So eventually, we will do a playthrough of the original trilogy of games. I'm going to put it in A simply because I love the save room theme. And I just love Nemesis as a boss character. I think it's cool that they kind of took the same theme they had with Mr. X in Resident Evil 2. Only it was the entire game. You had no real safe area outside of save rooms from Nemesis, and I thought that was really cool. I will have to skip over Resident Evil Survivor because I never played it. Code Veronica. There's a couple of these actually that I have to skip because as much of a Resident Evil fan as I am, there are many games I have not been able to get my hands on. So we're actually going to have to skip a few of these because I have not played enough Code Veronica to give it true proper ranking. So we're going to skip ahead to Resident Evil Remake. That is an S tier remake. 100%. Such a good remake. Much better voice acting. It kept true to the horror of the original, improved upon the horror of the original. Just, if you want a remake, that's where you look. Resident Evil 0, I'm giving a B, simply because I hate the item box. More importantly, the lack of an item box. I hated it. That is the only reason I put it this low, and I get that it's something petty to kind of put it low on the bar for, but I just hated having to remember where the hell I left everything. We will have to skip over the Outbreak games because these came out before my time. I was not able to play these at their peak with the multiplayer. From everything that I have heard, though, these would be, if I'm going off of other people's opinions and from what I have heard and seen, both these games go to A rank because they are awesome. They are good multiplayer entries. Good games all around. Gonna put it in the A tier. I want to put it in S tier, but I'm putting it in A tier. I understand this one specifically is a very divisive title because this is where the games really started going towards action-oriented, less horror, more kind of just shoot-'em-up style games. The reason I am keeping it at A, though, is because I absolutely loved it. It pivoted in a way that kept the game fresh, kept the franchise alive, because not too many games can be like, yeah, we swapped up the formula, and yeah, we kept it because it worked. Not many games do that. A lot of the times, they try to swap up the formula, and they either go back to square one, or they go kaput, because it just didn't work, and it killed the franchise. Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles. I'm going to put these in B tier. They're retellings of the original trilogy, although this one has its own separate campaign as well. But I mean, they're on-the-rail shooters. There's not really much to it. It's good turn-off-your-brain fun. I thoroughly enjoyed playing this because when I had a video rental place in my hometown, me and my buddy Larry again, because he had a Nintendo Wii, we sat there and we played the ever-loving crap out of this game. So much fun. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Resident Evil 5. It's going to C. I hated the AI. If you can have a friend playing with you, this is honestly a really fun game and a good end to the Wesker storyline, I'd feel. But the AI, if you're a single player person like me, in my position, I didn't have anybody that I could play this game with. So the AI made this incredibly frustrating at throughout a majority of the game, to be completely honest. When my brother, who doesn't really play shooters, can do better than the AI, there's something. Because at this point in time, my brother wasn't great at video games, even worse at shooters, and he was actually more of a help than the AI itself. It was bad. That's the only reason I put it at C tier. That, and I felt fear, but that's because this game came out in 2009. I was 11. So, like, yeah, I was a kid, and I was just like, ooh! But, like, outside of that, there was also no real fear factor. The horror in this franchise tanked by this point. I'm gonna put this in D tier. When I first saw it, I was like, I want to get a 3DS so I can play it. I got a 3DS for Christmas when I was in high school. I bought the game immediately. I quit playing the game within a month. It was a good time killer. That was about it. Honestly, it just felt like a cash grab. Revelations. I haven't played through it enough. If I'm going off of the demo alone that I played, I can't put it too high because it was only the demo, but the demo I played, I thoroughly enjoyed. I'll slap that in B tier. If I were to slap it. But I'm going to bring it down here because I didn't really play that one. The only reason I have games up here that I didn't play, Reverse and Umbrella Corps, is because I can tell you right now from the gameplay I've seen, no. Operation Raccoon City. I'll give it a C because it was kind of cool. It's like, hey, let's look at Raccoon City through Umbrella's eyes. What happened with the Umbrella counter service? Yeah. And the fact that, in all honesty, one of the endings breaks continuity because you can kill the survivors of Raccoon City. There is an ending where you can kill Leon Kennedy, and When I first played it when I was 13, I was just like, dude, fuck yeah. Looking back on it, it's not a horrible game, but if I play it, the only real redeeming factor for this game, I love the main menu theme, that's about it. Resident Evil 6. Enough said. I am unapologetically merciless against Resident Evil 6. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. Very much action-oriented, and it's... I don't know what else to say. Like, there's nothing that pops out. There's nothing that really sets it from the rest of the games. There's nothing memorable for Resident Evil 6 for me, so I was just like, eh. Resident Evil 7. That's S tier. The reason why this is S tier, I don't care that we don't see any established characters until the very end. I don't care that we've seen a redesign of Chris Redfield for the upteenth time to this point. I didn't care about the first... Well, okay. When it first came out, I was a little hesitant about the first person thing. I was truly terrified playing through this game. When I finally got to sit down and play Resident Evil Biohazard, I was terrified through a good majority of the game. I was on edge. It truly felt like a return to formula with the survival horror aspect, and I loved every minute of my playthrough. Every last minute. Resident Evil 2. That's also S tier. That is a proper remake. As much as I love Resident Evil 2, and in such high regards that I hold the original Resident Evil 2, this is a very close second. I loved every bit of this playthrough. As soon as they released the 1 hour demo, like you could play it for up to an hour to kind of go through everything and see what secrets you could find. Like, I was so excited. The trailer dropped. I tagged my dad on Facebook. And I was just like, dude, holy shit. I'm getting Resident Evil 2 remake? What? I get to experience Resident Evil 2? For a modern audience? And like, that's like, it's just an improvement. Like, I get a lot of people were like, ew, no tank controls, no fixed camera angles, what the hell? Look, here's the thing. Fixed camera angles and tank controls are an outdated mechanic. I am only able to play like that because I am already used to playing games like this, because my parents raised me right and showed me the olden ways of gaming. However, these are very much outdated mechanics. The reason fixed camera angles worked is because of the limitations of hardware, and they were able to scare you that way. They were able to improve upon the formula and find other ways to terrify a new generation of gamers coming into this franchise for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. I played it for 12 hours straight. I went to work on 2 hours of sleep because I didn't care. I was like, no, I want to get this game beat. Because I didn't own it. My mom got it from Redbox because Redbox was still a thing. Nah. Hey, back it up. Your gaming acumen is 100% for me. Don't be giving your mom's credit. From him, yes. Resident Evil 3. I'll give it a B. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed the remake. I enjoyed playing Resident Evil 3 Remake. I thought it was cool as someone who didn't play the original. As someone who has gone back, watched gameplay, talked to other people, I'm leaving it in B tier because it still left a lot to be desired. Village, I'm gonna put an A. They toned down the horror again. Wasn't a big fan of it. People apparently were too scared playing through Biohazard that they ended up toning down the horror for this. So I was like, eh. This is not one I've played, but I have sat down, I have watched a buddy play through beginning to end the game, and I still enjoyed the experience. So, not super low on the list. It's definitely higher on the list, but I'm not going to give it top spot, just because. And once again, as someone who has played the crap out of Resident Evil 4, this remake, chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. Do not at me. I don't care who I piss off with this opinion. That was an amazing remake. This was another game that I was super excited for. It came out, and I took time off of work to play. I took like 2 days off of work to play through it. I started recording this game as soon as I bought it. And also, don't forget, we're playing through Resident Evil 4 right now. So if you want, go over to YouTube. youtube.com/KidandVonKaiser. We have the first 10 chapters of the game out now in our playthrough. And honestly, I will try and have another video out later this week as of recording this video currently. So yeah, obviously I can't really put any of these games up here because I did not play any of these games, or I haven't put enough time into these games to give them a proper rating, because I've also not sat down to really watch people play them either. So I don't want to put games in the list when I can't give them a fair rating. But yeah, this was my Resident Evil tier list. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed yet, what are you doing with your life? Hit that subscribe button right there. All right, Twitch. We're going to say goodbye to YouTube here. So say goodbye, everybody. And as always, YouTube, I'll see you savage animals in the next one. Bye-bye!